spudded my way all the way out to this spot here where we're gonna set up. We're not too far from the access, maybe a couple 100 yards. We're gonna be set up on a road bed. I found it here on the Onyx app. My buddy told me to come out here. There's a break out to this side and there's a road bed coming across here. So we're gonna set up right on top of the road bed. I'm gonna drill some holes. I'm gonna use live scope to find exactly where that bed is. I'm gonna set up on top of it and get to jigging. Set up a deadline, obviously, so we double our chances at catching something, but we're gonna give this spot a rip and hopefully we catch some walleyes. So I think we are right on top of it. It looks like the map is accurate. I'll show you really quick what I'm looking at. I don't have the screen recording going right here, but we are right here at the 0 straight down. And I've got it pointed out to the right now. Now it's going straight forward along where the road should be, but it's dropping off right there. And if I go to the left, it drops off. It's a little bit more of a subtle drop off that way. Looks like there's a little cover there, about 30 feet. Maybe I'll take a closer look at that. But this is right on top of the road. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set up right on top of the road. And I will probably set a set line right now immediately in this spot, but then I'm gonna look around a little bit more, see if I can find, you know, any little brush piles or anything like that that can help us up the odds. There's one. Ooh, he came in hot. He missed it. Right here, buddy. Up here. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh man, it's a nice walleye. Or no, is that a pike? Oh, this is hand-to-hand combat. Ooh, coming up backwards. Coming up backwards. I'm gonna actually let him down. Coming up backwards is never a good strategy. There we go. All right. We're on the board, just like that. That was fun. Yeah, target species is walleyes, but when you're out here on early ice, you will take any action you can get. And that was so cool. Thin ice, I could see him fighting underneath. And I'm gonna have to grab the pliers here because he's got a couple trebles in his mouth. But god dang, that was fun. There we go. So there is, geez, there is the bait of choice, glass buckshot. And God, am I ever gonna get untangled? Of course it's wrapped around every single fin. All right, there we go. First fish of the day. Didn't take too long. I checked a couple different holes before we finally got that one. But I have a feeling this guy's gonna kick off like a savage, like pike always do. But yeah, one thing I will say, one pike tip is when you do catch something like that, always make sure, I don't care if the water's cold, get all that slime off your hands before you put your gloves back on. But there we go, that's fish number one. I'm not surprised that it was a pike. We're targeting walleyes specifically, but with that being said, I could see us getting a little bit of pike action before the sun starts to drop down and it gets a little bit darker in the evening. This lake is a little bit clearer than the last one that we were fishing. So with that being said, probably will be, you know, a little bit more dependent on that low light to get some walleyes, but I'm still holding out, hope we can get some here before it gets too dark. But yeah, first fish of the day, one of many hopefully. So stay tuned. All right, another thing you always got to do after you catch a pike is just check the health of your line. This fish was so wrapped up too that I'm just making sure nothing got nicked. But most importantly, right near the spoon, that's where the line, you know, if you have any kind of nick or fraying or anything like that, that's something to pay attention to, especially because I got pretty light line on. I probably could have went with something a little bit heavier, but I just left on what I normally run and what I will be running early in the season. and that is I have all 6-pound test. So this is a 38 inch Power Precision, which is just kind of my go-to all around rod for, you know, kind of predator species, you know, walleyes and pike and bass and stuff like that. So yeah, but 6-pound fluorocarbon. So this is lighter line. Fishing out here, fishing for bigger fish. There's big gators, stuff like that. I probably could have upsized to 8, especially considering this isn't very clear body of water. It is clearer than what we were fishing yesterday, but it's still not very clear. So anyway, that's my setup, and it's getting the job done. There we go. Ooh. Oh, it's another big pike. It's another big pike. Well, not, you know, decent sized pike. God, this is hand-to-hand combat right here under the hole. Oh. I got a hanger too. There we go. Yeah, it's not a big pike, but it's, you know, it's good action. There we go. Big enough that I can boat flip him. God, he's got the spoon right in his mouth too. I'm surprised I didn't lose this fish. There we go. Fish number 2. God, the ice season's off to a good start. We're gonna have great ice this year, guys. Mark my words, things are gonna be okay for us. I'm not gonna lie too, one thing that I do love is I love fishing up in shallow water. Early ice is a great time to do that. One of my favorite parts about it is you just get some wild and crazy hand-to-hand combat fights. And also, if you feel like your spoon is maybe a little bit light or something like that, all you gotta do is go like this and you can check to see if the minnow head is still on there. You can even straighten it out like that. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to fish right on the bottom. You know, right now I'm in about 6 feet of water. And essentially, you know, when you're this shallow, you can afford to pretty much just fish halfway down. So I've got my bait jigging roughly 4 feet down, which is, you know, a little under 2/3 of the way down there. So yeah, I love shallow water fishing, especially when you got a big fish and it's running this way and that way. Yeah, whether it's a pike or a walleye or whatever, I mean, it's really fun. All right, so we're kind of in that window of time where we're just going to grind it out here. I've poked around a few different spots. We have seen a few fish so far today, just like walleyes slinking around in the bottom, so I know we're in a good area. It's like 3:20 right now, so I think that evening bite may be firing up here pretty soon. So we're gonna hunker down and just jig hard. I've got my set line over there and cross our fingers here that we can add to those 2 pike. There he is. Come on up, buddy. Come on. Oh, what? Come on. There he is. God, I even waited. The line was bent over. He's still here. Come on. Come on, let's make good on one walleye here. One walleye. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, it's big. It's big. Ooh, it's big. Come on. Come on. Oh, no! Oh, no way. Oh, that's devastating. Oh my gosh, it was right there and I didn't want to grab it. Oh, dang, that was big. That was like a 25 incher probably. Crap. That sure would have beat the 2 little ones I caught in the last video. Okay, well, that happened, but like I just said about 2 minutes ago, we're still fishing. We're gonna stick with it, and this is it. This is the bite window, so we gotta do it. There's one. There's one right there at about 16. Come on. Dang it. I should have been set up back there. I gotta say, one mistake I do see people make is they'll fish really hard all day, and then they want to head in before it's, gets too late so that they can grab dinner or whatever. And I've seen it a bunch of times. You fish all day, you fish hard, maybe you see a couple fish, or don't get any of them to bite, and you're kind of just over it, and you're like, whatever, I'm gonna go in. And there was actually one other person on the lake with us today, and right as I hooked up with that big fish, they had just started walking back to the access. So the bite windows can be so key. And one thing that I've actually noticed, it's kind of funny, is when the live scope, so I use this blue color palette a lot, and when the live scope flips from the daytime mode where it's like bright blue and it flips to the dark mode, so kind of like night mode, once that flips over, I think that's supposed to be coincided with sunset. Once it flips over, it seems like a fish comes in, not too long after, 5 minutes after, or 10 minutes after. So if you do have one of these setups, consider that, once it flips over to the dark blue, it's game time. So kind of a funny one, but just understand how the bite windows work on some of these lakes, because you don't want to fish hard all day and then leave too early. And oftentimes what I found is on a lot of lakes, walleyes can be tough to catch during the day. But if you can see a few fish during the day and kind of the hours leading up to the evening here, and maybe even catch one or two, then you know that you're in a really good area, and that there's at least fish swimming around. The biggest key is just being in an area where they're at, and then kind of hunkering down and catching them once they're feeding and they're willing to do that. So just something to think about. All right. I gave myself a hard cutoff of 6 p.m. and it just turned 6 p.m. So we're going to stop fishing because I have quite a drive yet today. So this was kind of a tougher day. It's sort of unfortunate. Did see some walleyes swimming around. None of them were really active until the low light window, and it was just such a tight little bite window there that we were only able to get that one bite for the walleyes. But we did catch a couple pike to start the day, which was cool. And I think in some cases, like, a YouTuber may throw this footage in the garbage and say, whatever, that day wasn't great, so I'm not going to put it on YouTube. But I think that we're going to post this one on YouTube for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I think people are just super hungry for content right now, and people are just excited to watch anything, even if it's not a super incredibly stellar day on the water. And people don't necessarily want to watch some of the stuff that was saved from last year. They want to see what's happening right now out on the water, which is something that I'm always trying to do, whether that's with timely videos like this, or with like live streams that we'll sometimes do. Last year we did live stream on Red Lake and whatnot. So anyway, now I'm getting off on a tangent. But the other reason why I wanted to put this video out as well is just to show that, like, not every day is a slam dunk. And if you go out and don't cream them, don't get into a bunch of fish, it's, that's just fishing. Like, you watch all these videos and you see people cracking huge fish, or maybe, catching like a dozen walleyes or 2 dozen walleyes. It's not always like that. Sometimes you got to work for it, and especially if it's on bodies of water that you've never fished before. Like, I've never fished this one before. There's a good chance that you're going to learn something, but if you've gone out there, a dozen times, maybe you'd have enough information where, you could have a little bit more consistent success. But either way, the thing about ice fishing is not a consistent deal. You don't get them every time. And it's just hard. You can't move around as much, earlier in the year like this, especially if you're confined to fishing up in shallow areas like I am right now. I mean, if you move around and, walk around between a couple holes, hole hop, you're going to be spooking fish away from your area. So for me, I'm not saying I would never move, you know, but for me, I'm trying to move as little as possible to, you know, kind of, yeah, not scare fish away from me up in the shallow water here. But now I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about as far as going down tangents. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got a little bit of a just an ice fishing fix. I'm just, you know, trying to make content that you guys are gonna enjoy, and, you know, just be honest with everything I'm doing. So not the best day in the world, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.